I agree.
Like something really bad had to happen to your team, and you're really dumb and can't figure out there's somebody else out there.
You got to be trying to lose.
Yeah, like if it's a loser.
Welcome to the Fantasy Underdogs Podcast with your host, Dr. Ike and BJ.
So let's start off with local teams. Jets, Giants.
Oh,
I know you're
baby.
a Jets fan. I'm a Giants fan.
Wouldn't know with this Zeke jersey, but I named my cat after Zeke when I still thought it was a boy. Turned out to not be. So there's that.
Good story.
Banter.
Anyway.
Takes after his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about
let's talk about the elephant in the room.
What, Mike McCagnon or Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones,
Okay.
DJ, my boy.
Yeah.
Man, no one was expecting that. What was he, a third round grade by a lot of people?
I think he was like back end of the middle second. But honestly, so we had plenty of discussions about the Giants.
Hold on. Reaching. Like the Giants.
Yes, okay. They
Big
might have
ol'
reached.
reach.
They might have reached. That's fine. But so everyone and their mother said the Giants needed to draft a quarterback, right?
My
Everyone
mother
was
knows
like,
nothing about football, but okay.
and everyone was like, at 6, Giants have to draft a quarterback. Oh, they're going to draft a quarterback. They're going to draft a quarterback. And what do? They draft a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, I'm no expert on evaluating college talent and scouts for the NFL.
You should be.
Right?
That's what we brought you on here to be.
But the New York Giants, you would assume, hire people that have this type of knowledge. So, all in all, the Giants did what everyone wanted them to do. They just didn't take the guy that everyone wanted them to take. Now, will Daniel Jones be great? Will Daniel Jones suck? I don't know. But as a Giants fan, I'm going to get behind him. And you know what? If that's my future, that's what I got to do. I got to support him. Root for him. Because if I don't root for him, he's probably not going to succeed. And to be honest with you, he might be a very good fit for this offense. He excels in the West Coast offense. Schumer likes to run the West Coast offense, and they have receivers that'll fit this mold perfectly. You have Golden Tate and Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. All these guys are very effective running short routes and creating yards after the catch.
It's a perfect meme of it. It's just Daniel Jones. He's got like the profile thing going, and they basically said Daniel Jones. He looks like the guy to play Eli Manning in like a Peyton Manning documentary film, or like just a recreation.
Oh yeah,
of
he
it.
looks just like
he's such a goofy bastard.
It looks just like it's wonderful though.
But it was like the Giants are like, well, we have Eli, so let's draft the next goofy looking white dude that can't run anywhere to be our quarterback. I like it. You know what? Be consistent. That's gotten you 2 Super Bowls. Who am I to judge? But the thing that I think it comes down to more than anything is that now people thought that he was a reach. They thought he should have taken Dwayne Haskins. So now you're looking at all the guys that the Giants could have had over the past 2 years. They're all going to be compared to Daniel Jones now. Mm-hmm. The Giants should have taken Sam Darnold. People are already saying that was a mistake. Quarterback's important that year. Okay, whatever. We're waiting until next year. Dwayne Haskins falls in your lap. Nope. We're not going to do that. So I think especially those 2 guys. I mean, you could lump in Josh Rosen and Josh Allen from last year as well as possibilities. But you had the possibilities of all these quarterbacks. So now, if Daniel Jones fails and any of these guys are good, it's going to be on the Giants. But the one report that I read that was very interesting is the fact that the Redskins supposedly were going to take Daniel Jones at that spot, and that they had him ranked ahead of Dwayne Haskins. So I think that is interesting. Like, the Giants didn't think he would make it back to them at their later first-round picks.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, if you fall in love with a guy, you take him. I don't care who you are. Whether it's in fantasy, whether it's in NBA, football. If you fall in love with a guy, you got to take him. Because
we
if
always
you
say
don't
that in
take
fantasy, and like they did it in real life, and people are criticizing him a lot for it.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, they love this guy. They apparently scouted him, and he was a good fit for their offense. Mm-hmm. Maybe Haskins wasn't a good fit for their offense. I don't know. I mean, he probably would have been, but maybe they just didn't like something about him. And I understand he played at Duke, but that team was horrible. Horrible. They had the most drop passes in all of college football.
Yeah.
So you're playing with subpar talent. You're going to, the Giants, and they have good receivers over there. I mean, yeah, they don't have a deep threat yet. Maybe one of the guys they drafted in the later rounds, a kid from Auburn. Maybe he turns out to be halfway decent. Or maybe they just wait till next year and get one of these other receivers that are coming out in the draft that are supposed to be really good. You got a couple good players coming out. But as far as Daniel Jones, I don't know what's going to happen. But right now, as a Giants fan, I'm here to support you. Let's go. We got our quarterback of the future. Hopefully we're successful. The defense is a bigger problem than I think that quarterback position is right now. So if we could fix the defense, I think the Giants might be pretty decent in the years to come.
We'll see. Let's move on to the other dumpster fire in the same stadium, and that is my Jets. Now, we have the exact opposite problem where I think, we figured out the quarterback situation, I think, and the real screw up here came down to, I think, Mike McCagnon, who just got fired. He didn't do anything that you would hope that a GM would do. Now you're saying, he accumulated some good talent, but the talent that he really got was, the obvious pick that any of us could have made. Obviously take Sam Darnold at 3 last year. Yeah, obviously take Quinnen Williams at 3 this year. Duh. Yeah, don't need to be he was. Yeah, both guys picks. Were rated by some people to be the top players in each of those drafts. But the big thing that was reported all offseason this year was Jets got to trade out of that pick. Jets got to trade out. They got to accumulate more talent. Quinnen Williams was not a need. We needed edge. We could have used more wide receiver help. I would have liked to upgrade offensive line. There's all different spots that could have been helped out, but he never really did anything. And there was another report where they said that he was trying to trade back into the second round to get what's his name? Mecole Hardman, who ended up on the Chiefs. That would have been, I would have loved that pick.
But you have a lot of those guys already. You got Crowder as that guy. Anun was your slot guy.
No, I think honestly Hardman's a more dynamic player.
I
that is in the sort of Tyreek Hill mold that the Jets could have used.
What he should have done trading back into the second round, if that's what the goal was draft a center. You guys still, I don't think, have a starting center on your team.
That's another big one.
That's a huge, huge hole that needs to be filled.
Right up the middle.
Yeah, huge hole.
Whose butt does Sam Darnold touch pretty much every player other than shotgun? The centers.
Exactly.
And we don't even have a center.
And you don't have one. And I think the Quinnen Williams, I love that pick. I think he's going to be an absolute monster.
Great. He's still got braces, and he's hilarious. He says some funny stuff in his interviews. I love his personality.
Yeah, he's going to be a really good player for that team. I think the Jets got high hopes. I think I think they have a chance to make the playoffs. If Darnold's good and I like Herndon. Herndon can be a really good player for them. And you got Le'Veon Bell. You need to address the center, get something, or maybe you have a homegrown guy that you're banking on that hopefully he's good.
Yeah.
But overall, I think that the Jets' offseason was good, except, what was it, yesterday, 2 days ago? McCagnon fired as the GM. Yeah. Now, Adam Gase is the GM.
For now.
You want to know so funny? I was looking online the other day, and there was a picture of Gase and Darnold looking scared. And you know what? There's a shocking resemblance that Adam Gase looks like.
Who?
Vladimir Putin. You ever see them face to face? They look exactly the same. So is this like a step in his kind of he's actually got the same personality too, right? They just got the GM fired, he's trying to take over. So what kind of organization are they going to be running over there? Now he's talking about not wanting to pay Le'Veon Bell. Granted it's over and done with, he's on the team, but he said
he said he liked the talent, but he didn't want to spend that kind of money on a running back, which a lot of people agree with.
Yeah, which I also agree with. I don't mind him saying that, but it was funny that the resemblance of the picture of him and
let's get that one up there too.
Exactly.
I like that. I was going to say what's most important that we talk about here is obviously fantasy, and I think we got to talk about the two players that probably have the biggest impact, and that's Josh Jacobs and I think David Montgomery in Chicago.
I like both those guys a lot.
I like David Montgomery just because I think they wanted a guy that can do all 3 downs.
Yeah, he's good too, man.
Like
He's a good player.
They have Tariq Cohen, who I love as a player, but he's going to get his spots.
Yeah, he's a
But
scat
they
back.
want a guy that can do everything.
Yeah. I mean, Nagy drafted David Montgomery this year. I think in the third round. I want to say they moved up for him, if I remember correctly. And they got rid of Jordan Howard. They signed Mike Davis. Yeah, maybe he'll be a stopgap guy, change of pace guy, but I think they're all in on Montgomery. Nagy was comparing him to Kareem Hunt. The guy is really elusive. He's inside, outside, back. He's got power. He's tough.
And you know what? Anytime I see a team trade up for a specific player, I know that they really believe in him.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Totally
to trade
agree.
it back into the third
Totally
round.
agree. And opportunity for this guy, I mean, is going to be there. He's going to have a chance to get the starting job. I mean, if you're in dynasty leagues, he might be considered the number 1 overall pick. Because it's hard to find starting running backs on teams. And
That's
if you get
important,
a guy,
especially a bell cow.
yeah, I mean, in rookie drafts, you're probably taking Montgomery first. He's on the offense was good last year. I think they were a top 12 offense. So they're up and coming. You got a good offensive-minded coach. You got a good young quarterback and a decent offensive line. I mean, I think they were ranked pretty high on Pro Football.
Yeah, well, they were talented, and it was basically you saw that offense really lifted everyone in that offense that wasn't necessarily that great. I don't think even their quarterback is really anything special. I think it's more of a product of the system than anything else.
Probably.
Why that team does so well.
And the defense is still really good.
Yeah.
So, they're going to be a tight
Number
game.
1 defense last year, so yeah, that helps a lot for the running game.
Yeah, so he'll be very effective. If he wins that starting job, which I really think he will,
Yeah.
he's going to shoot up draft boards. I think a lot of people are going to be behind him this offseason.
Yeah. So next up is Josh Jacobs. We got to talk about starting
Jacobs.
running back in Oakland. Now that's one guy that I think it's definitely in the RB2 conversation. He's going to get. It's not like Doug Martin's going to be taking away his touches.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Antonio Brown opening things up for him, I think really helps out a lot too.
Jacobs is going to be interesting. That offense in Oakland, we don't know. Honestly.
It's really how is Derek Carr going to perform?
Yeah,
That's really what it
we
comes
don't know.
down to.
They got rid of some parts on the offensive line as well. Assembly is a Jet now, right? Mm-hmm. And you got Antonio Brown there. The chemistry in the locker room, how's that going to be with him in there? Derek Carr was talked about being traded or being cut all off season.
Yep.
How is that going to bend well? They drafted Jacobs hoping they found their running back of the future. I've heard a lot of comparisons to why John Gruden took him was because they really likes him as that Charlie Gardner type,
Love that comparison. I love Charlie Gardner. He was another guy that did everything for your team.
Yeah, so that's the type of guy that Gruden compared, because I believe Gruden was in San Francisco when Mariucci was there. Or I'm sorry. When he was first in Oakland, he had Charlie Gardner as his running back.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry about that. When he was first in Oakland, he had Charlie Gardner, and he said there's a lot of resemblance that he sees in Josh Jacobs with Charlie Gardner, and he utilized Gardner all over the place.
One thing I want to say, just since we are talking drafts still, just to see how far the Raiders have come in the sense of I put money down on them taking DK Metcalf with that. I thought even with that number 4 pick that they had, I thought they were taking him.
But when they said they had a surprise.
I was surprised they didn't take him there. And I thought he was still going to be a first round pick. I was utterly shocked. They had what, 3 picks in the first round?
Yeah.
3 picks. They never took the freak, the athletic combine freak. Yeah, the 3-cone drill left a lot to be desired. Tom Brady was faster, but man, I did not expect him to fall to the end of the second round, and the Raiders never took him.
Well, Davis isn't here anymore. They don't need to take these.
His son's there, but they still make bonehead moves. But wow, I was.
Well, they got.
I applaud them for
They got the
not
draft
making the
expert
obvious.
of draft
Yeah.
experts, Mike Mayock. So he obviously knows what he's talking about, right? He was everyone's go-to guy. Now he's running his own team. So him and Gruden, I mean, it seems like they might know what they're doing. We'll see what happens in the coming. But
I'm
again,
willing to bet no. We'll see.
I'm thinking Derek Carr. It rides on Derek Carr. Josh Jacobs, I think he'll be used heavily. Mm-hmm. I could see him being like a 3rd, 4th round pick in upcoming drafts. Again, another player in dynasty leagues that's going to go very high, probably top 2, 3 guy. So And then what about the quarterbacks? You know, we talked about Daniel Jones. How about Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins? Looks like these two guys are being thrusted into.
I'm not excited about Dwayne Haskins
roles.
fantasy wise, because he is more of I don't like any of their receiving options that they have there. That whole offense just seems like there's nothing to be excited about. Like, yeah, for the future, maybe he'll end up being something, but he needs more pieces around him. I think Kyler Murray's someone I could talk about.
Yeah.
Because
But hold on. So before we go to Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, you know, Jay Gruden's been known as this quarterback whisperer, right? I mean, Haskins grew up in the Baltimore area, you know. Why can't he succeed there? I mean, I get it. You had Kirk Cousins there who was pretty successful.
What does Baltimore have to do with it?
Well, he's just from the area, so he's a hometown guy. You know, he's from.
I guess, yeah, that is close to Washington, D.C., isn't it? Yeah. Didn't even put that together. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically playing home for him. You know, yeah, granted, the talent around him isn't that great. He's got
That's
guys.
such a big thing, though. They got no wide receivers. They got.
But think about it.
They have no tight end.
Cousins really didn't. I mean, I guess Cousins had Deshaun Jackson and stuff. So, yeah, they lack a lot of talent. You're right. So he might be not that good this year.
I think it is.
I don't think they're going to be good.
I think him and Daniel Jones. I honestly, I would rather have, if I knew Daniel Jones had the starting job, I'd rather start Daniel Jones over him in a fantasy league. That's how low I am on Haskins. Is I don't see any scenario where you're starting him this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Like something really bad had to happen to your team, and you're really dumb and can't figure out there's somebody else out there.
You got to be trying to lose.
Yeah, like if it's a loser league, like how many
Yeah.
interceptions are going to be thrown, how few yards, maybe. But that's about it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
But all right, so enough about Haskins.
Enough about Haskins.
I don't want to talk about the Redskins anyway because they're
let's go.
I can't stand that team.
I was trying to steer away from this whole conversation because it was unnecessary.
Okay, fair enough.
I want Kyler Murray. I think he's someone that if you decide to punt quarterback, he's going to be of value. Like kind of how like no one expected Cam to be in his rookie year to be as good as he was. I think it's possible. It's a very similar scenario in the sense that you have a running quarterback that is dynamic, that started off with basically no playmakers. Like his number one receiver for Cam was I think Steve Smith at like age 55, and he did well. He did very well. I think there's a good chance with the air raid system when you got David Johnson. I think Larry Fitzgerald still holds his own. I still think he has something left in the tank. And you got who's the other wide receiver?
Christian Kirk.
You got Christian Kirk, who people thought was a sleeper last year. Maybe he makes a big step this year. I think there's a lot to like here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kyler. Honestly, I would say you're obviously not drafting him to start. Probably draft him as a number two. Two quarterback leagues will probably be a pretty decent option because he's going to be playing. He'll probably have a decent floor with running.
I want to do I want to do a two quarterback league this year.
But I would say one of the leagues that I'm in, it's a keeper league. But what you do is you keep only drafted players, and the following year there'll be 3 rounds higher. So you draft the guy in the 10th round, the next year he'll be a 7th rounder. So I think in a league like that, if you draft Kyler Murray late, he would be a great value going into the following season as a late pick, potential dual threat quarterback. Could be a top 5, right?
It's true.
So I like the potential of Kyler Murray. I do like the system. He knows the system. He's got a great running back next to him. He's got a Hall of Fame wide receiver on one side.
Those dual threat quarterbacks also tend, like the first year or two, they tend to transition well because they usually do simplify the playbook for them to something that's more comfortable.
Yep. But he knows the system. That's the thing.
I know. So it's a perfect scenario. I think in where I'm punting quarterback in a lot of leagues, which is generally my strategy, that's someone that I'm probably going to be taking as my number 1 or 2 quarterback a lot. And especially like you were saying, 2 quarterback league, I like him there.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I love that upside in my number 2 quarterback. If I'm taking more of a surefire top 5, top 6 guy, my second quarterback is going to be someone like Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and I mean this year Kyler Murray, I like him. That team's not going to be good. The only thing I'm worried about is him running for his life. That offensive line is not good, and they didn't really upgrade it. So that's a big problem.
Okay, I want to try something really different here to end this little segment. I want to do just like a rapid fire. Rapid fire. How quickly can you go off on someone and just give me like a little something on him? Or if you just think maybe just not that valuable. Like I want to start off with, you were saying before you want to talk about TJ Hawkinson with Detroit. What do you think? Go.
Probably I would take him as a back end tight end 1 right now.
Back end. You think he can actually be that good in 1 year?
I think so. I mean, they don't really have much over there. I mean, they have Galladay, and you got Marvin Jones, but you don't have the guy up the middle. Who's the guy up the middle?
But do you think he's really going to be better than Noah Fant? Same team coming from Iowa.
So it's tough because the
Denver.
The Denver situations might be a little bit better because Joe Flacco and he loves tight ends. So he might be better on a week-to-week basis.
Is Jake Butt healthy? That's the real question. No one knows if anyone's. If
anyone knows,
Butt
please tweet at us.
Yeah, please let us know. We don't do much research on Jake Butt anymore.
But I think the upside for Hawkinson is higher because I think that offense might be a little better.
True.
But I think the consistency with Fant will probably be better because of the Flacco and the type of offense they run.
Now, what about Paris Campbell over in Indianapolis? He's going to be on the other side of.
Well, he'll be in the slot because you got T.Y. Funchess and you got him in the slot. Honestly, I think he could be very, very explosive. I see him more of like a Deshaun Jackson type of guy, a guy who's going to have his big weeks and then he's going to give you like 1 or 2 0-point weeks. So I think he'd be very inconsistent. But as a flyer, maybe in best ball leagues, he might be really good.
Another guy that actually we were talking about Kyler Murray before. What about Andy Isabella? I really like him almost as. You know how Cooper Kupp was? He came out of nowhere for a lot of people fantasy-wise in his rookie year. I think Isabella could make a similar impact in that air raid offense.
Yeah, I mean, he can. I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot about Andy Isabella. Because if he plays in the slot, I don't think he's going to get much playing time because Fitzgerald usually runs a lot of his routes out of the slot. If he plays on the outside, then they're going to use him most likely if he gets the job.
I think they'll figure out creative ways to get him the ball because he's like a Wes Welker type. Like he's just going to find little open patches in the zone coverage and get open.
I think he's going to be a late round guy. I mean, maybe you could score something on him. Maybe he turns out to be really good. I mean, probably 11 or later, 12 or later.
Gotcha. And what about a boy that didn't get drafted by the Raiders, DK Metcalf?
So he's interesting. I don't know how I guess he kind of fits that offense as a big play threat, like that Paul Richardson type that they had.
But he's so big and strong, and he's so ripped in that one photo that we got to see.
I like him. Again, I don't see him being consistent. I can see him being a big touchdown guy.
He'll get you 15 points one week and 0 the next.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll get his targets. He should be starting, you would think, because they drafted him in the second round, right? They took him in the second round, right?
I think it was last pick of the second round.
Yeah, took him in the second round. So you would think he's probably on a path to start and get playing time. And they do run the ball a lot out of that team, out of that offense. But I think the play action will help open up the downfield passes to him.
Gotcha. Well, so much for that segment being quick. It's the underdogs, BJ, Ike, quick. That's how it's done.